Hi, I'm Stuart from SB Lead Works. Welcome to the next job. Let's go and have a look, see what it's all about. Okay, so here we are. So we've got this capping to do to these coping stones just off this flat roof here. It's quite a bit of it to do, so it's definitely going to keep me going for a couple of days. Just comes all the way through here. Just returns back round here. And just goes back towards the house. So yeah, so there's a fair few meters to do. I was speaking to the homeowner and he said this house is about 20 years old, and what's happening now is these coping stones, they're just starting to deteriorate a little bit and crumble. So what he wants to do is to cap this to protect it. Doesn't want to see very much lead on the front. There's a lip here. He just wants me to come down probably in line with that lip, maybe slightly lower, which is not a problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all this swept off and start setting out some panels where all the welts are going to come. Okay, so that's this stone all swept off now, and I've just marked out where all my welts are going to go as well. What I've basically done is I've just started from the corners. I know I've got 700 wide lead, so I've just done that as far as it will get me and just marked where my welts are either side. Of course, the other way you can do is you can mitre the corner and have a weld down there, but I just think it's going to be quicker for me to do it this way rather than a big weld coming down there. I can just do that in one complete section, just have an outside weld there and an inside weld there to do. So what I've done is I've set all my corners up first using 700 wide lead, and then I've just measured in between all the different corners. So this long section here, for example, was 14 meters 160, and I've just divided that equally, and done the same with all the others as well, to get it all to work out, you know, as close as I can. I can't keep it all the same because all of these different sections are different lengths, so it's just got to try to get it as close as we can. You know, all the corners are going to be the same, and they're all going to be sort of like equal in between the corner sections. So now I've got all my welts all marked up where they're going to go. I'm going to get a bench set up, start knocking out some lead and get some lead on there. I'll make sure I get some building paper underneath this as well. Okay, so I'm just putting some panels on there now. Just come off this back horse where I've started here, just worked my way through here. That's the corner done there. Worked my way back through here, and I'm just coming down this long straight side now. So you see I've got the building paper underneath. I'm just sort of like putting it on as I go. Got the copper in the welts there. What I do is I just notch out in the welt as well, so that when you set the welt in, you won't see the thickness of the copper. And also, because you've notched it out there, it stops it all from sliding, so it will stay on your marks exactly where you want it. You had to be careful where I put the copper though. I couldn't go too close to the edge because this stone oversells quite a bit from the brick wall. And if you go too close to the edge, you've got a danger of blowing the coping stone, which you definitely don't want. So I just had to be a bit careful where I fix these. So now I'm going to put the next panel on. I'm just going to take it over to the bench and show you me looking it up. Okay, so it's not really much to it at all. It's just a case of bending an inch either side. Just going to lightly scribe it. I'm using code 5 lead for this, so it's a little bit harder to bend. Not too bad. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of patination inside that welt as well. Make sure it doesn't streak through afterwards. Because obviously once you oil it, once it's all finished, once that welt's all finished, you can't get any oil on that section. So if you just do it now, just know that you're covered. same on the other side. Oil in there. That's ready to go in. Okay, so let's get this panel fitted now. Let's cut a bit more building paper for there. Good. Let's cut some copper. Hope you can hear me okay. Apologise if you can't, it's a little bit windy today. I am thinking about investing in a mic, but I just don't know what ones there are, what's good, what's not. So if anyone could recommend anything, I'd definitely be interested to. Please let me know in the comment section. Right, so what I'm going to do now is put this in my welt, not too close to the edge. Just going to notch it out now so it's not going to move around. Just by a few mil. Just be careful when you do this that you don't slip and score through the sheet where you don't want it cut. Check that and make sure it's square. That's pretty good. I'll just use a bit of copper as a washer as well, because if you just put a nail straight through there, the nail head's about the size of the hole that you just drilled, so it's not really going to fix that well. So if you just cut a piece of copper as well, it just makes the head a little bit bigger. And it's, yeah, believe me, they're hard to get out. I've tried. Okay, so that's all fitted now, so I'm just going to work my way through now, just repeating that process. Catch you in a bit. Okay, so that's the majority of this lid on now. There's just a couple more meters to put on this last section down here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this for the minute now. I'm just going to concentrate on getting some of this lead finished off. So what I'm going to do first is set in all these welds. And to do that, what I've got here, I've got a metal plate, which I'm just going to slide in underneath the lead there, just to support it, because that's just oversailing by about 150 mil. So I just put a metal plate in just to support it. I'm just going to use a setting stick, setting all of these welds. So I'm going to work my way through there, setting all those welds in. Then I can look at getting these edges down and trimmed. Okay, so that's all these welds all nicely set in now. I've also just dressed down all of this inside edge. So now I've got these welds set in, I've got all that inside edge all dressed down. I think what I'm going to concentrate now on is getting all this front down, and then I can start trimming it all up. Okay, so that's all that inside edge all trimmed up now. I've just dressed down this outside edge as well. So what I'm going to do now, I think, is trim all this outside edge. I'm not sure the easiest way of doing this, to be honest with you. It does make my life quite difficult without a scaffold being there. I don't really want to hang over and trim this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to keep moving my ladder along to get and scribe a line and just trim it as I go. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get that front edge all trimmed up now, and then what I'll do is I'll get a metal plate behind all this, set all these welds in, and just dress all that edge down as well. Okay, so that's all that front edge all trimmed now. What I've done in the end is I've just done it from down here, just got a ladder up and just moved it along. It's a bit annoying because you can only do about a metre at a time, but at least you can actually see what you're doing rather than trying to hang over. Trying to get a straight line can be quite difficult. So now that's front, it's all trimmed up. What I'm going to do now is get that last bit of capping on that other end and get all the gussets welded in. Okay, so that's that last section of capping on as well now. Just dressed all that down, trimmed up both sides as well. So all we've got left to do now is to make and weld all these gussets in. Just had to do one of them here behind this rainwater pipe. I welded that in before I put this capping on because I thought it was going to be quite awkward to try and get in there without taking that off. So I've just got that little bit there to finish off, which I can do in position. So we'll get all these corners made up. Got a few scattered around. It's got one there, one down there, outside edges as well there to do. What I'll also probably do is put a fixing on there as well and weld a little circle around it, because at the moment you could kind of like lift that corner up. So if I put a fixing on all these external corners, I think got one there to do. Come down this end. So we've got another internal corner to weld there, another external. Again, I'll put a fixing on that corner there as well. Same on this one, internal corner to weld there, external and fixing there as well. And then the last return here, we'll have a little corner to weld in there and then an internal corner to weld there. So we get all these gussets made up, get all them welded in, and then it'll just be a case of putting some flashings in the back there, give it all coat of oil. That'll be job done. Okay, so that's all those gussets welded in now, and all these corners. Just put these fixings on as well to stop that from lifting. So that's them all done. Down here too. So we've got a flashing to cut in on the back there. Come down here, got another one as well. These are all welded up now, it's all finished. So we've got another flashing to cut in through here. So we get these flashings cut in. Later on, I will have to replace this flashing as well, but I'll probably do that off camera because this video is getting quite long. But I just got to replace all this flashing through here and point that up as well. So we get these flashings cut in to these upstands here, and then give it a coat of oil, and that'll be job done. Okay, so that's those flashings cut in now. I've just given it all another coat of oil as well. So that is job done. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can check me out on Instagram at SLBLeadworks. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything and only takes about 5 seconds, and it just really helps me out. If you made it to the end, thank you very much, and hopefully catch you in the next. Cheers.